Hi, so we are going to be constructing this graphic organizer, and eventually it will be glued in your composition book, but we're just going to keep it in pieces. So what you're going to do first is you are going to cut out all of the sections along the bold lines. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm going to pause, and then I'll show you what it should look like when you're done. So here I have cut out each of the pieces. This right here is just the fun little title. That'll go at the top of your at the page in your composition book later. This is a directions type question thing. And then this is like your tester. So you can actually cut these out into 4 parts too, but just don't cut out the table. So I'll show you what it's going to be like. I'm going to cut here. I'm going to cut here. Then I'm going to cut here. I'm going to stop at the dotted line because that'll be folded like so. I'm going to make them like that, okay? Cool. Then same thing with these. See how the little dotted lines, they're going to be folded like flaps. So now I'm going to tell you what's going to be going on the flaps. So if you're going to cut those like that and come back. Okay, so on the back of what is it? What is the constant proportionality? Well, the constant proportionality is a ratio that stays the same for all x, y. So we're going to call that k. So it stays the same. It's also the unit rate. So it could put in, but we know that. All right, so there we got that part. How do I write it? Well, we write the constant proportionality as k equals y over x. It's the unit rate. And then how can I test it? So how do I test it? Well, I test it by writing the ratios y over x and finding the unit rate. Or I'm going to put in here divide. So the constant proportionality is a ratio that stays the same for all x and y, and we call it k. K equals y divided by x, and it is the unit rate. Writing the ratios y over x, it's going to give us how to test it, and finding the unit rate, and we're going to divide. So we got that part. Why don't you go ahead and get caught up? I'll leave this here so you can see it. So in this table, we're going to now, we have 4 sets of tables where we're going to test the constant proportionality. You're going to do the same thing in all of them. You are going to set it up, the constant proportionality. I'm going to write under here is k equals y over x. And then underneath here, so that's how I'm going to write it. But under here, I'm going to test it. So I need to look back at my table. So in this table, they have the y and x backwards. So in all of these tables, the y and x are backwards. They did that for you to make it easier, but it is a little confusing. So I just want to make sure you realize that like the coordinate point here for this first one would be 1, 2 because they have the y and x backwards. So we're going to set it up though the way they have it. The y is 2 over 1 and then 4 over 2 and 6 over 3 and 8 over 4. And I can divide all those and they all equal 2. 2. 2. This is really messy. 2. So k equals 2. And in my table, I'm just going to emphasize that y equals 2 times 1 and 4 equals 2 times 2, because this is my y side, 2 times 3, and 8 equals 2 times 4. Whereas in this table here, well, let's give you a hint. All of them are proportional. So they're all proportional and the constant proportionality. But like when you find this one, again, this is still the y. So now the y equals 1. So 1 equals 1/5 times 5. And 2 equals 1/5 times 10. Fifth, Michelle. And 3 equals 1/5 times 15 equals 1/5 times 20, because you're still doing y over x. So just know that in all these tables, they have the y first, even though they should have it second, but that's just because when you write the equation, you can write y equals kx. So go ahead and finish all of them. They should each have this on the back. They should have k equals y over x, and then you should have all of your ratios and the constant proportionality on the back. Don't glue these together. You're just going to gather them up, and you are going to get a Post-it note and